4-1 ratios and rates. Today you'll express ratios as fractions in simplest form to determine the unit rates. 3 new vocabulary terms. Ratio, it's basically a comparison of two numbers by division. Notice the actually 4 different ways that we have written a ratio. Here's our 4 different ways you can actually write a ratio. A rate is a ratio of two measurements having different units. So they have different units. Unit rate is a simplified rate, so it has a denominator of 1. So it's actually your fraction, or whatever that might be, solved. And we'll give you a few examples here. Our first example, we're going to write this ratio in simplest form. So we're going to express 12 blue marbles out of 18 marbles in simplest form. So we have 12 blue out of 18 marbles, and we need to write it in simplest form. So basically what is happening here is division. Now you need to figure out what factor would go into 12 and 16, and the greatest factor would be 6. So when you divide your numerator and your denominator by 6, you have 2/3 of the marbles are blue. So 2/3 of your marbles are blue. That is your simplest form ratio. Example 2, you have 5 blue marbles out of 20 marbles. Write that in simplest form. So again, we have 5 out of 20. Determine what can go into your numerator and denominator. In this case, both would be divisible by 5, and I'd wind up with 1/4 of the marbles are blue. Again, in simplest form. Big thing today is that when you write ratios that compare quantities, in order to compare these quantities, you have to have the same unit. If you look in example 3, it says express 10 inches to 2 feet in simplest form. Notice that inches and feet are not the same measurement, so we need to do a conversion. Whether you're going to convert to feet or whether you're going to convert to inches, you need to determine what you're going to convert to. But this here is helpful as well. Your measurement page, your conversion chart, is on the last page in the book. So if you didn't know that there were 12 inches to 1 foot, you could easily look in the back of that textbook. Maybe when you have to convert feet to miles, maybe you didn't know there's 5,280 feet to a mile. So your conversion chart is on the last page. So first off, what I'm going to do is go ahead and write this as a ratio. We have 10 inches to 2 feet. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and convert. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and convert my denominator here. I'm going to convert this to inches. Well, we know that there's 12 inches to 1 foot, so I'm going to multiply this by 12, and I now have 10 inches on the top. 2 times 12 is going to give me 24 inches. There's 24 inches in 2 feet. Next thing, again, simplest form, I need to go ahead and reduce. In order to reduce this problem, they're both divisible by 2, and I wind up with 5/12 would be my answer there in simplest form. Example 4, 14 ounces of butter to 2 pounds of flour. So my ratio would look like this: 14 ounces to 2 pounds. Again, I look at my labels there, ounces and pounds, not the same, so I need to go ahead and do a conversion. You can look in the back of your textbook, and you'd find that for every 1 pound there is 16 ounces. So again, I might go ahead and convert my pounds here. We know that there's 16 ounces to a pound, so I'm going to multiply 16 to the bottom. 14 ounces is still on the top. I've now converted from pounds to ounces, so 2 times 16 is going to give me 32 ounces. Now I can go ahead and reduce my fraction here. Both of these numbers, and I would divide both of them by 2. They're both divisible by 2. I wind up with 7/16, and that is simplified. The next part, the second part that we'll do, we've worked with ratios now we're going to jump into rates and unit rate. In this problem, we're going to go ahead and find a unit rate, and if you have to, you can refer to that first page there. But the unit rate is basically a simplified rate, so it has a denominator of 1. So reading says Bobby reads 141 pages in 3 hours. How many pages does he read per hour? So right now we have 141 pages, and this per here is division, per hour. So, and he reads that in 3 hours. Right there is your ratio. You're going to go ahead and convert that to a unit rate. So basically what's happening is dividing. When you divide 141 by 3, you get 47, and this would be pages per hour. The per represents division. We have pages per hour. There is his unit rate. Example 6, it says travel on a trip from Columbus, Ohio to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Lee drove 864 miles in 14 hours. What was Lee's average speed in miles per hour? So again, it says miles per hour. Miles would be on top. 864 miles in or per 14 hours. Convert to a unit rate. Divide here. Now when you do your division, you'll see that we don't get a whole number. So go ahead and round. Keep at least a decimal point. So we can go ahead and round here, and he is at approximately 61.7 miles per hour. A little shopping here for us as breakfast. Decide which is a better buy. Explain your reasoning. Explain your reasoning. A 17-ounce box of cereal for $4.89 or a 21-ounce box for $5.69. So the first box here we have is $4.89, and that's for a 17-ounce box. Our second box is $5.69, and that is a 21-ounce box. So we need to figure out what is a better buy here. When we do our division, notice on top is both are dollars, and on the bottom both are ounces. So when you do your division, it's going to be dollars per ounce. So when we figure this out, $4.89 divided by 17 ounces, you approximately get, now this would be rounded. We're talking money here, so you need 2 decimal points. When you do your division, you divide, you wind up with approximately 29 cents per ounce. Second box, do your division, 569 divided by 21, and this is approximately, after you round to your 2 decimal points, is 27 cents per ounce. So obviously looking at this here, the larger box would be the better buy. Now it says explain your reasoning. Well, your reasoning is right there. It is less dollars or money per ounce, and you showed your work there, your division, so that it proves that that would be our better buy. This would conclude lesson 4.1, ratios and rates.